All right, Shalom. For the foremost, I want to give our praise and honor to Yahweh Shem Shai. Give honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and to all the Akim across the globe. Pushing the word of truth and sincerity, I want to say Shalom. As I die now from the Great Millstone campus of Chicago with a lesson basically going into the IMF and the World Bank. I found this article, this video. The name of the page is called Moments and Minutes, and the topic is the Bretton Woods Conference. All right. I'm gonna give you a little backdrop on this because I just discovered this today through the spirit of the Habash Meow Shai. All right. Let me see if it has it on here. Okay. All right. It says I'm going to the Wikipedia. To the Wikipedia on this topic. Okay, it's called the Bretton Woods Conference, right? And basically, this was established after World War II. Okay, when a lot of the countries that were involved in the war were considerably worse off than they were before they started the war. Okay, and to be honest, the United States were actually stronger than most of these nations after the World War, and we had we had hard times. Okay, but here it goes. It says the Bretton Woods Conference, formerly known as the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference, was a gathering of 730 delegates from all 44 allied nations at the Mount Washington Hotel situated in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, United States, to regulate the international monetary and financial order after the conclusion of World War II. It said the conference was held from July 1st to the 22nd in 1944. Agreements were signed after that, after legislative ratification by member governments established the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development and the International Monetary Fund. All right. So let's get to the video. That's just the backdrop. Okay. I'm gonna play as much of this as I can because I know Esau be tripping.
There were many efforts made during the 20th century to create a successful international monetary system, particularly at the end of the Second World War. Important economic lessons had been learned, particularly from Germany's rise during the interwar years. Due to enforced reparation payments for World War I and trade restrictions imposed during the Great Depression that suppressed global output and caused massive unemployment in many countries. Added to this was the affirmation from many countries to solve financial problems through capitalism, and the expectation that governments would improve growth and employment through welfare programs. In an effort to rebuild the international economic system in the aftermath of the Second World War, 730 representatives from 44 countries gathered at Bretton Woods, New Hampshire in the United States on the 1st of July 1944. The Bretton Woods Conference lasted for 21 days, during which the Bretton Woods system was established. This set rules to regulate the international monetary system. Three important institutions were also set up during the conference. The International Monetary Fund was created to help countries in financial need with short-term monetary aid. The World Bank was established to provide loans and assistance to developing countries. At the conference, there are
All right. So you got the International Monetary Fund was set up. All right, to help countries in financial need. All right, so say like you're a third world country, right? And it's gonna get into this later on, like Haiti or them countries that have natural disasters and they're unable to afford to rebuild. Where they go to the IMF for a short term loan, all right? You know, it may be for $1 billion, maybe for $1 trillion, who knows? But they take that money to they go to the IMF to get the money to help them rebuild their infrastructure. But guess who gives them the money? It's the World Bank. Okay, so now you're indebted. Okay. All right. So we're gonna keep on going.
system was established. Monetary Fund was created to help countries in financial need with short-term monetary aid. The World Bank was established to provide loans and assistance to developing countries. At the conference, there are also attempts made to...
See, the World Bank did the same thing as the monetary funds, right? But guess what? The World Bank controls them. All right, the World Bank is a government within itself.
create an international trade organization. However, this failed, and in place of this, after the conference came the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade.
Okay, let's skip to here.
Which rejected government intervention in markets and gave markets free rein to regulate themselves. This shift to neoliberalism was based on the belief that by eliminating trade restrictions and removing state intervention, economic prosperity and growth could be achieved for all people. The institutions that are the foundation of the Bretton Woods system, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, continue to play significant roles in the modern global economy. As many Western countries were beginning to embrace neoliberalism, the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, decided to increase the price of oil in 1973. While wealthier nations were able to see off these price hikes, poorer nations were continually struggling to keep pace. With these nations requesting financial help, the IMF and the World Bank began turning away from developing European countries and toward the Third World. As a result, they emerged from the 1970s much different and more powerful organizations by spreading the Bretton Woods system beyond the First World. Such is their influence that Third World economics and the IMF and the World Bank are now intimately intertwined.
See, now, basically, there's no money in the cure. Okay, why would you help somebody? Why would you help a progressing, developing nation? To help them when they're able to offset the increases of taxes and increase of rate hikes. Okay, they're not being affected by that. Okay. So what you do, you turn to the poor, who are in need, who are in more of a dire need, which will be more. There'll be more. What's the word? More willing to sell their soul, so to speak, man. Okay, to get out of their jam. All right. So what they'll do, they'll go to the developing third world nations and put them in so much debt that they're not able to repay it. So how do they repay? Well, they repay them. They repay them by implementing democracy, by implementing their own leaders. When I say their own leaders, I mean the leaders in the interest of the World Bank and the IMF. That's why you have rebellions in these certain places. Okay, that's why they set up puppet leaders. And I can remember so far going back to Manuel Noriega. And just going back in time, man, you just see all these rebellions of these countries, these coups, okay? Well, all that was funded by the IMF, man. Okay, when you're in debt to the bank, all right, when you're in debt to the beast system, the only way to pay is with your people, is with your land and with your resources. All right. So I got a precept here. Daniel 8:25, and through his policy, also he shall cause crafts to prosper in his hand. He shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. All right, and it was through his policy, man. Having a 21-day conference with 730 delegates from the 44 allied nations. Okay. All right, in which they got together to establish a World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. But also it says that he said he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. And by that peace, all right, it's a lending out money and to create debt for those countries that are impoverished. Okay, all right. If you're let's say if you're I don't know, man, I don't know, Tibet, okay? Say you're Tibet, right? And you have a big ass mudslide that destroys half the ocean side, okay? And you know you don't have the amount of funds to get the excavators, the extra, the big heavy equipment to remove this dirt, all right? Much less the money to rebuild the coastline or to rebuild houses and hospitals and schools. You go to the IMF or to the World Bank to get a loan, and the loan be so outlandish and with such of a high interest rate that you're unable to pay it, that you're unable to pay it. Okay, but what does happen is that okay, you might not be able to pay it, but you got you have vast amounts of lithium. Let's say lithium, and I don't believe lithium is in Tibet, but let's just take that for an example. Well, allow us to take over your lithium mines, okay, and we'll put that towards your debt. All right, and once we extracted and exhausted all that resources, we're gonna go to your next one, to the point where you can't pay till everything is exhausted. Okay, well now you gotta allow us to put forth our democracy, to put forth a public government. Now that we're in total control of your land, man. So he comes in with the idea of help, but he leaves off worse than before. Matter of fact, let me get this. Says Isaiah 57:20, but the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. All right, and they are a troubled sea, man. They going, they went around seeking whom he may devour. In this case, it was going toward the third world countries and making them financial debt slaves to you, man. Okay, why? Because they couldn't keep up with the demand, keep up with the increase of oil and other goods and trades, man. All right, Micah. Micah 2. Micah 2:1, it says, go to the whole scripture. Micah 2:1, it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is the power of their hand, man. Okay? So you look at the whole Bretton Woods conference, it was 44 allied nations. Not 44, not all the countries who live in this world, but the ones that we're friends and the ones that we're cool with, man. All right, what was that evil? To set up this International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, all right, which eventually became the government of the world, man. The biggest financial institution of the world is the bank. So they cover fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man, even his house, and a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. All right. That's what they do, man. They put you in debt. When you cannot pay, you got to pay back with your resources, and eventually you're gonna be paying with your lives, man. Taking on democracy, taking on the American dollar, taking on the debt. All right. So with that, I want to say, call Allah, Yahweh Shai, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and until next time, Shalom.